Okay, what up guys? This is gonna be a quick YouTube video. We were in South Florida, West Palm Beach for a work-related thing for me, and we had some time, and it just so happened that FieldFest is going down this weekend, so Liv and I grabbed a ride over here, and we're just gonna check it out, show you guys a little bit of what's going on here at FieldFest, try and see if we can link up with some homies, and we have a short amount of time here today, so we'll get what we can. And now we're in like Florida heat. Just want a quick one-on-one on the Porsche.
Yep.
Like, where did you start with it? What's your vision for it? And what are the plans like moving forward with it? Just tell us a little bit about
questions.
It's three. It's three.
It's
Too many.
It started as a stock Copart 2.5 GT basically, so it's a 2.5 turbo. And then we basically didn't do anything. We stripped it immediately down to bare car, got everything sorted, stripped out what we could, removed the weight, and bigger turbo and fuel system from Ragdoll. And then where it ended up before we drove it was like a billet upright custom steering knuckle and all that stuff, so it's got like 65 degrees of angle.
Okay.
And we kind of maximized knowing that it was going to have a lot of forward drive, like because of the rear suspension and the weight of the car, like where it's at in the motor and the mid-engine car. So we basically just put side bite mostly in the steering geometry. And where it's at now is like 550-ish horsepower, even bigger turbo, more fuel, lighter. So this year it's like 100 pounds lighter, makes 200 more horsepower. And just dialing in some of the suspension stuff. It's been very different. It's a learning experience for me. Like, we work with a lot of drift cars. I've set up a lot of chassis, but how this thing reacts is like so exciting to drive. Like different things that normally don't work on other cars, I get to try with this.
And you're already like finding a way to kind of progress what your base knowledge already was from years of drifting and comp and the traditional setups, and now just trying to like learn new shit on this car.
Exactly, yeah. We've got it pretty good now. It hooks up fast, it's got some good speed, and it puts down all the power. It's making 5 and change today, and it's like, you know, it loads all the way to Redline, so it's doing pretty good.
How surprised were you with how well it drifted, like somewhat out of the box, and what's been like the biggest challenge to make it drift well?
Yeah, so out of the box, my fear was that it wasn't going to have enough side, it was going to have mostly forward, so we made some changes to help that, but when I first drove it at E-Town, I was like amazed at how good it was. The balance was really good, and you can set a car up to go through a turn, but like transitions and stuff are where different cars show their benefits or losses. And this car is like immediately, first transition I did, I was like, oh man, this is good. The weight, well, and the car too. Like the weight's really low. It's all between the wheel wells, so it's like really good centered weight. And it's light on the front, but that's fine anyway, because most of the time when we're drifting, we're on throttle and you're lifting the front anyway.
You would think the chassis that's like kind of set up to be a good car out of the box for road racing, it should be like close enough to kind of make it work, right? You got a lot to work with.
For sure. And when we built this, like my whole plan was to have it basically be a mid-engine E36. Because the rear suspension is very similar to E36, front as well. So just kind of building those things around that. In fact, like the roll center and everything in the front is exactly what E36 is. Like the offset in the hub, everything we built straight off the bat with E36. Because the steering's steering, right? Like if you don't have enough grip, you can always put more tire on it. The rear is where most of the magic happens. And like I said, this thing way exceeded my expectations on the first session, and then throughout the last 100 tires or so, we've got it to a point where it's actually pretty easy to drive.
Yeah, well, I think it's cool, like honestly, because I like growth in racing where I fell in love with it was road racing.
Oh,
right?
sick.
I found my way into drifting, so it's cool that I don't road race myself. Let me just preface that. I ain't got that kind of money, but I think it's sweet.
It is wild.
Your next
Drifting's
evolution.
so cheap compared to road racing.
It is, but I think it's cool that you have the next evolution now. It's like, where can I go differently, right? And taking a road racing car with a ton of road racing heritage, then bringing it to the drift track.
For sure, and to me, I built the Porsche mainly because I met so many people when I had a drift school that were excited about drifting that were Porsche guys.
Yes.
And they had no way of drifting a Porsche. Like you can do a 944, one of those cars, but like, and you can slide around a GT3 and some of the other cars that are real drive, but they're not like, they're just power sliding.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, we gotta build a Porsche and show these people what's up. And all the Porsche people were like so stoked. Like even Porsche North America called me to get me out of one of their school days to go ahead and drive.
The crazy thing too though is like, guys are buying C7s now. The barrier, like, it's not cheap E36s and S13s like we started drifting on. So like, in all intents and purposes, compared to other people buying, it's not that expensive. You can pick up a car like that for, it's expensive.
They're getting more expensive. That's
like,
the problem.
Dudes are buying C7s. It's like, damn, dude.
Yeah, that's expensive. And what's weird is like on paper the C7 is really good, right? but it's just okay, I think, as a drift car.
I think after 400, 500 wheel, that's when they start to like not excel. I don't know, not that I have a ton of experience,
no, for real, they're great out of the box, and like
what
if you're gonna keep the engine pretty simple and like the package is simple, they work pretty good.
Yeah.
But when you start trying to make grip and make power and do all that, it kind of starts becoming more difficult.
I always tell people I think that's like a great like weekend drift car. You can drive to the track and like 400, 500.
Except when you have to fix it.
And then fixing
everything you have to fix is like adds 3 hours to
transaxle.
Oh yeah, even though like axles and control arms in the back are a nightmare. But so this is kind of the opposite. Like this is a car that's only ever really used for road racing, not drag racing or anything. And now we've taken all that out of it, and it's really good. Cool. It's really impressive. I'm really stoked.
I'm stoked to see where it's gonna go, and hopefully we'll get some laps together in event.
Then I'm gonna bring it to the ice next.
Wow,
that'd be sick.
That would be
super fast.
Maybe I'll get like an old Boxster and bring it up there instead.
Cool.
That car's a lot
a little bit of
but
a
it would be
shimmy.
sick to at least turn some laps in it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's cool, man.
That'd be what
last night and met up. We're at FuelFest together today. Paul brought his chaser. It's for sale. There's crowds all around it. But Paul, just tell me really quick, why are you here? How'd you end up in Florida? What's the situation? Give me the story.
So some guys know me, some guys don't, but I run Grassroots Performance. We manufacture oil coolers, some cool parts, and I also have Nakama Imports. I've been importing cars since 2016. So this chaser was my daily driver in Japan, and then it was my daily driver in Canada. And then I went to visit a couple of distributors on the way down. We said, you know what, let's hit FuelFest. And we got accepted into Taste of Tokyo. So I said, you know what, if I could fly home, it would be a lot better than another 30-hour drive. So
sell the car, fly home.
Exactly. Throw for sale on it. It's creating a lot of buzz. So a lot of people talking. Got a couple of test drives lined up, but hey, it is what it is, right? If they don't, I'll drive it. So I mean, it doesn't really bother me.
Nobody loses. Nobody
That's
loses.
it. What are you doing down here?
And we came down for a work trip, and just so happened that FuelFest was the same weekend.
Yeah.
So we ditched the work trip for a little bit of business, a little bit of pleasure, and just hanging out, man.
Is there a couple pro guys running the drift side of things?
Yeah, we were just chatting with Denofa because we were
Sick.
taking
Yeah.
a few
Saw him a
weeks
couple
ago.
weeks ago.
So from snow to Florida sun, you know.
It's
small
good.
world, dude.
It's a small world, but I mean,
world.
that 6 degrees of separation feels smaller once you start growing up.
One big community here. Well, listen, dude, I'm stoked you met
Yeah,
up.
bro.
I'm stoked that you're here.
Thank you, man.
And I'm sure you'll see more of Paul and I doing successful
Be around.
Okay, what up, parents? We left FuelFest. We're chilling at a gas station, waiting for our Uber, like a bunch of goofballs. But yeah, we came by FuelFest for a couple hours, I think 2 or 3 hours. Linked up with Chelsea, saw our dude fellow racing really quick, and a few other people. Cool to see those dudes because the last time we saw them it was on Stokoe Lake and it was snowing, and now we're here in Florida and it's super hot. Yeah, it was worth it. It was cool that it landed on the same weekend as my work trip, and it's cool that it was also so close. It was only like 25-30 minutes from our hotel. So yeah, quick day trip, quick day adventure, and we're back tonight. We got a dinner with my work, so we got to mission it back, get ready, and then we're leaving tomorrow. Our homie Paul is in town as well. We just interviewed him quickly in the video. We might go out for another drink with him or two tonight. He might take the chaser and pick us up. Mob around the streets of West Palm Beach, we'll see, but you guys will find that out. If it's in the video, it happened. So yeah, if it's not in the video, then this is the end of the video. Go from there.